This is going to be a little bit about some static measurements in movements of longitude. So there's been quite a bit written in various books about using movements of planets, planetary longitude based on different factors. Here I'm using some static numbers, which I'll tell you where they came from. This first chart, this is an old chart. It's the S&P, the ES contract. This is from way back. You can see the price area is 2117 to 2140 or so. This is wave 59 at the time. I was testing these cycles and using the planetary longitude measuring tool built into wave 59. So what I'm using here, you can see I have measurements of 3.5 degrees and either 1.7 or 1.8 degrees. My measurement that I'm looking for is 1.75, but the closest the program can work is to the 10th. So it's either 1.7 or 1.8. So I'm looking for these moves of 3.5 degrees and 1.75 degrees. So you can see from the starting point, say from this high here, 3.5 degrees comes to the high of the day right here. Then from the high of day, 3.5 degrees, that takes you to this high here. So I'm not going to go through every plot. You can look through the chart and you can see how well these worked on the intraday. I'm showing them on the 4-minute chart here. But there's a few numbers associated with the moon that are good. The other one, I'll bring two more lunar examples in of different lengths. But this 3.5 and 1.75, this comes from George Bayer, time factors in the stock market. So if you're looking, he doesn't specifically reference these shorter frames or using this as longitude. It just happened to jump out to me to test these in this smaller frame, and they seem to work really well. Let me pull in another chart. Now in this chart, I'm using the Daniel time times in half a time degree factor of 1260 degrees. And what I'm doing, I'm using the whole amount of 12.6 degrees. So I'm just floating the decimal instead of using 1260 degrees, which you can. I'm using 12.6 degrees. Then I'm also taking the half point and the third point, where the half point is obviously 6.3 degrees and the third of 12.6 is 4.2 degrees. So you can see how taking these measurements from various highs and lows and also from the 0 hour can give you certain indications. So I'm not going to go through and call off each one of those. You can pause the video and take a look and see how these operate. They can also be used from start of session. You can run them from the Sunday night 1800 time, and you can run them from the day session 9:30 and see how they look and test out. But you'll get significant trading points, and you can do this easily. You can clock this out even just using an ephemeris. Just look at from these time points or from the high and low, look at where the moon's position is at the time, and then add these degrees to that and look at what time they show up later in the day or the next day. Now this one is a little bit of a bigger frame. This is a 42-degree lunar. I'm not going to say where this is from, only that this is a good number as well. Should be able to figure out where this is from without me telling you. Anyway, This is a 60-minute chart of the ES back in that same period. You can see this was from October, end of October from 10:23 to 10:30. You see the price level on the right at the 2115 to 2150 area. But you can see picking these from various highs and lows, project forward, give you some good pivot points on the hourly chart. That is the 42-degree lunar move. That generally is going to project you, 3 to 4 days forward to give you some decent points in time. You can also run these in tandem from the different time frames and see where they come together, and that will even get you the really good points like these last two here on the 28th, these two bottoms. So you can get those together, and where you get that kind of convergence, going to give you some really good time setups. Here are a couple of recent examples of the moon longitude movement. This first chart is from the 18th. Just grabbing this minor or this overnight high after 8 in the morning to get some projections that are going to come in the day session. This is the moon. This is where I'm anchoring here, and I'm looking at measuring the moon longitude from what it was at this point, adding 1.75. That gets me to this high here, and then adding the 3.5 from the anchor gets me to this low here, which is just a minor corrective low in that strong uptrend. So a chance for a short and a long. Take a look at a chart from the 19th. Here's the 19th. I've got two sets of projections on this chart. The same thing, the moon 1.75 and 3.5. Anchored from this high. Gives you this high here. And then the bottom of a minor reaction here. Then the next projection is measured with the arrow. So the anchor point is this low here, which happened to be the low of the day at around 9:45. First projection was a minor top in the strong rally from Friday, and then this top that came at the end of the day session. So all the projections are good. Some of them are minor, some of them trigger off a little bigger moves, but they will give you some good points, especially when you use them in tandem with the other timing tools that we have.